Hey guys, welcome back to the Jessica Jones After Show on AFTERBUZZ TV. Tonight, we're gonna get into A.K.A. Pork Chop, A.K.A. 3 Lives and Counting, and A.K.A. Pray for My Patsy. Episodes 10 through 12. I don't even know how to start with this, so let's just get the show going.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh, hey guys, welcome back. Real quick, I'm your host, Zach Wilson. I have a great panel with me. Amy Cassandra Martinez is back, of course.
Hi.
Jesse Klein is here as well.
Hey, everyone.
What?
Guys!
I'm sure that you guys who have, like, those of you who have seen, like, the season and are, like, waiting for us to catch up are like, oh, this is where we wanted them to get to.
Absolutely.
These are 3 of the craziest episodes yet. We're going to get into all of it. We're going to talk about Dale Holiday. We're going to talk about Trish and what, the hellish path she's gone down. Yeah.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah. Hogarth is getting darker than I don't know if this is actually darker, but she's going dark.
Yeah.
And Alyssa is on the loose. And we might even talk about Turk. But let's dive into this. Just reactions off the top after finishing these 3 episodes.
This was the hardest ones to stop. Like, all the other ones, I was like, 3 is a good chunk. Like, this is an easy stopping point. I don't need to go further and watch the next episode. This was because we just got done doing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I went home and watched these 3 episodes.
Yep.
And I was like, can I? No, I can't. I have to come here and watch and do this show. But this was by far the hardest, like, the last minutes of the last one. I was like, I need to see the next part.
Yeah.
Especially because we only have one more episode. I think, and I think this is also the kind of feeling that people were waiting for when they started this season, where it's like just more intensity. So I'm glad we got it.
Yeah, there was some intensity there.
Yeah.
A little intensity.
I want to start with the whole Dale Holiday storyline. Dale Holiday, being the prison guard who treated Alyssa like crap. Oh, if my voice sounds like 2 octaves lower, that's because of WonderCon.
Sure.
Oh, I thought because you were screaming, you were so excited.
Maybe it can be a little both.
Okay.
But WonderCon is the main culprit. But now I got that deep, sexy baritone. I was just gonna roll with it. This guy is like I thought this was really interesting. I didn't know where they were going with this when they introduced his behavior up top. Like, because at first she fights back against him, and it seemed like
at the very first, they're very kind of buddy, like they're talking about stuff, and they do it again with the woman who takes over after him.
Yeah.
Where it's like as soon as she stops acting the way they expect her to, she stops being Alyssa and becomes prisoner. And like
inmate. 45962, so I don't know, something like that.
But I thought it was very interesting that they showed it with both of them, where like as he was willing to be friends with her until she didn't want to eat her meat, and then all of a sudden he turned on her very quickly. I thought that was a really interesting moment to see both of the guards, because again the guard that comes after him, when Alyssa's on the ground. And the guard comes to check on her. She's like, Alyssa, are you okay? Alyssa? Inmate? Do I need to call a medic? And I was like, oh, she's going to throw you across the room. And she did.
Yeah, as soon as she closed the door behind her, I was like, oh no, you dead.
Yeah.
You so dead.
She could just be in traction.
No, she dead.
Okay.
But the whole Dale plot line, like, this is a guy who is like trying to control her. It's a story. It's like a part of the theme that Jessica Jones as a show really is tackling, is that idea of a woman being controlled by a man. I mean, that was all of season 1 in a more direct, superpowered way. But that was the theme, and now we're revisiting that in a prisoner guard, like guard relationship.
I would open it up to just how you are controlled by other things, because we've got addiction, we've got Kilgrave, we've got guilt with what Jessica's dealing with this season. Like I think the overall thing is like, how do you control your destiny? How do you control how you act? How do you deal with those outside things that come in and push you in darker places or negative places? Because I think that's, for me, that's the overall like arc. And I think they use Kilgrave, and I think they use like this guard. I think they use it as a bigger example and like a more extreme example of like, this is a human clearly controlling you, making you go to dark places. But I think it's just a symbol for addiction.
We'll see. And when Dale is her guard, you can really just see how she's trying to refrain from killing him, just so that she kind of helps Jessica and help everyone around her so that she doesn't kill other people. But the moment that Carl's dead, that's it. It's like, no, I'm done trying to control everything.
Yeah. Well, she does her best with Holiday. Like, she is at a point where she's about to snap his neck right there. She could have. And she lets him go. It's sort of her way of being like, I'm still in control of this situation.
Yeah.
Like, if I didn't want to be here, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
I let you lock me up. Then, of course, he goes and gets some, like, I think those would have been like the basically what they held the Winter Soldier in Civil War.
Yeah,
effectively.
like the shock. The shock stuff, whatever that is.
It just the design. It looked like when he's in that cage.
Yeah, and we found out that she was being held in Cell Block D, which is where they held the Punisher and Kingpin and Daredevil.
They upped security there. Didn't help at all. I think they painted since then. It's not as covered in blood as it once was.
Coat of paint.
It up a little.
Yeah.
It's not white anymore. They're like, this is harder to clean.
Yeah.
But the big part of that arc is not just like how it affects her, but Jess, when she realizes what's going on, through like she has these little coded conversations, which I appreciated how those like really played out, decides to take this into her own hands. Is that where that sound is coming from?
This is where it's coming from. I'm so sorry. Netflix is trying to spoil everything for us, guys.
Oh no.
It's all good.
Shut it down.
It's all good.
Shut it down.
Good.
Well, Jessica kills again.
Yeah, so Jessica kills again. Like, she goes to just investigate this guy, find out the dirt on him so that she can blackmail him, get him fired, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But he comes home. He comes back at the wrong moment, right as she discovers that he basically tortured and murdered a bunch of inmates, and then
made it look like suicide.
Made it look like it was suicide. Kept their numbers as trophies, which is sick.
That's real gross.
In an extra twisted way.
And they were all like burnt and stuff like that. They were like gross looking.
I think it looked like they were covered in old blood.
Yeah.
I think it was like browned, like he didn't exactly wash them afterwards.
Oh yeah, sure.
Like the blood was still
she's not
on the
thinking about
number.
that. Yeah.
No, he probably enjoyed the fact. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
This guy is a sadistic, twisted individual, and he probably enjoyed the fact that their blood was on the numbers. Like, this guy's a serial killer.
Yeah.
He is a serial killer. Like, that's the truth of the situation. He's just one with a badge.
Yep.
But now Jess, she was defending herself.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. Yes, she broke in. Like,
I mean, whatever.
I mean, the thing, this is the closest she's come to truly, like, she's broken the law in ways, like, she's broken into places and, like, stolen things, like, all that, but...
She covered up a murder.
She not only, she broke into someone's home...
And killed them.
And he, like, for better or worse, he was right in that he had the legal right to defend his property, and I don't know... it'd be an interesting legal debate if like her defending herself when attacked in that situation is if self-defense like plays once you've broken into somebody's home.
I think stand your ground rules apply.
Well, like he is definitely allowed to attack her in that circumstance.
You're
But like
allowed to shoot someone and kill
yeah,
them.
but what I'm saying is from Jessica's side.
Yeah.
So she's in there, he attacks her, she struggles and fights back and accidentally kills him.
Yeah.
Is that I think the least you're gonna find is manslaughter. I don't think they're gonna get you off on self-defense.
No, yeah, you'd get manslaughter.
So this is
Obviously, we're a crack legal team here.
yes.
Don't worry about it, guys.
Trained by watching hours and hours of Daredevil and Ally McBeal.
Hey.
That's my training ground. I don't
Sure.
know. But so now she finds herself in a very complicated situation, and I loved the inner monologue. Like we've gotten a lot of like voiceover monologue this season, but this was the place where I thought it was really the most effective.
Well, the inner monologue turned into Kilgrave.
Yes, but just the way it evolved from that, where it was like hearing her just debating. Should I do this? Should I do that? I can't. I've actually committed a huge crime here. Like, if I cover it up, that's going even further. What do I do? And then she makes the decision. And once she decides to cover it up, to take that next step to not just having committed the crime, for better or worse, but now she's going to attempt to hide it.
Yeah.
And that's when Kilgrave shows up.
Beautiful.
It's kind of. I was waiting for it. I was so excited for it.
I mean, the appearance leaked out months and months and months ago because David Tennant was spotted on set for season 2. It was just a question of how he was going to show up. Did you guys like this device?
Yeah, I mean, I like how patient they were with it. Like, they've gotten almost the entire season without him showing up, and just like brief little mentions of like, I don't like purple, or her talking about killing him. But nothing, he didn't have his fingers on any of this season, really. And it was nice that they were that patient, and we finally got to see the demons that Jessica has been fighting the entire season kind of manifest themselves.
Well, and the whole arc with her of, dealing with all of that internal turmoil that we see, obviously, with Kilgrave as well, really ends nicely. Like, I was wondering, okay, well, how long are they going to keep him around? But I like that she was just kind of like, no, that's my superpower. Like, I get to control my own feelings. And then it was just like, okay, I'm here if you need me. I love that.
And I like how this scene is paired with Trish and Malcolm talking about how, like, Trish, who we now know is manipulating Malcolm and just wants to get superpowers or a fix or whatever she can get her hands on to become powerful again, is manipulating Malcolm and saying, her mom, like, is telling Malcolm that Jess's mom is manipulating her, and like, who knows how far she'll go? Who knows what she has Jess lying to the cops right now. Who knows what she'll do? And while we're seeing that simultaneously, Jess has killed a police officer and is covering it up at the exact same time.
Yeah. Prison guard.
A prison guard. Yeah, a prison guard. Sorry. A prison guard, and is covering it up. So at that time, we're like, oh, Trisha's making a pretty good argument. Like, we should be kind of worried about her. Even though we're also seeing, and again, I didn't remember her name, but the actress who plays Jess's mom is so good. And she's so good at playing out of control and rageful, and then immediately turning a switch, and then becoming a mom, and just being Jess's mom, and in control and caring and loving.
That's Janet McTeer.
Janet McTeer, you're killing it. She's so good in this series.
Yeah.
And she's so good at being scary. Like, she's legitimately scary in this series.
But you also feel the gentle nature when she switches modes. Like the subtlety of that performance is spot on.
Yeah.
See, we did get a little feel of that with Jessica when she was leaving somewhere. And she just had like that really fake smile, just like, and then you see her turn the corner, and then she's serious, and it's just like, yeah, that's exactly how her mom is, and I think that obviously really plays well with everything that they've been able to do and get this far. They have to manipulate people in some ways.
Yeah. I find it interesting, just like we were just talking about Jess's idea of like being in control of herself as like what makes her stronger than them, even if she's not necessarily more powerful. And that like there's one thought that like is it just that she's not willing to push herself to that level, but she is capable, or is it? But like I really love that thought that it is that Kilgrave had the power to be a force for good if he had wanted to. Alyssa, brain damage aside, had the same at least power to do that.
And I think wanted to do that as well.
Yeah, and in Alyssa's case, it's more that like she's damaged beyond repair, and she's never going to be able to be that person.
Yeah.
Which is very real to life. There are sometimes people get injured, people have brain damage, and they're not going to be able to go back to being who they were.
Yeah.
That's life. That happens to people. But Jess has these powers, and you can debate whether or not she has put them to the best uses over the years, but she has refrained from getting deep down a supervillain hole.
Well, I mean, we've seen this season where she was knocking off ATMs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly what Jess, and I think it's interesting because we get in that argument that she and Trish have later, but it's like Jess doesn't want to be a hero, she doesn't want to be a villain, she just wants to be left alone. And like when she does act heroic, it is mostly in the interest of just either she is forced to be a hero and sees no other way out, but for the most part, she just wants to be left alone. And that's all Jess wants. And the world won't let her be alone.
Yeah, she just wanted to have a quiet. She's good at being a private investigator.
Yeah.
She wanted to just do that, and just that's it. Like have her little corner of the world, her one bedroom apartment with her office in the main room.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
No, she can't have that.
No, she's got to go fight her mom.
Came back from the dead. Well, and I think also, with Trish is that we see this a lot in these 3 episodes where she's just so angry because she can't do anything about it. And then she blows her ZCN audition. And I kind of thought at that moment she was still having withdrawals. Right?
Yeah. This whole these 3 episodes, this is withdrawal, because even when she is active and lucid, it's only to get more drug.
Well, more power.
Well, and to her, it's one and the same. Like getting the powers fulfills it's not the drug. It's not necessarily the adrenaline of the drug that she is addicted to. There may have been physical addiction to that, but I think that is out of her system. She's chasing that high of saving people and being the most powerful person in the room. And so she doesn't need the inhaler, whatever form it was going to come in.
Dr. Carl.
Which is a good supervillain origin. Like, honestly, the idea of chasing power to be a superhero and doing whatever you could, going to whatever lengths, whether it's a drug or experimental surgery, in order to become a hero and not carry, she knocks out Malcolm and puts him in the trunk of a car.
Yeah.
She's not, that's a good supervillain origin story for Trish.
She doesn't hesitate either. She's like, sorry, done.
I mean, this is what I like about this character is that, and a lot of in this show is that she's not a supervillain. She's not a superhero. She's not a hero. She's not a villain. She doesn't have superpowers anyway. But regardless, not yet. She's neither, because she's struggling and trying to find herself, and that gray area. I don't even know if I would categorize her as an anti-hero in this mode, but she's complicated.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We didn't need to put a strong label. You don't have to label it one way or the other. She's just trying.
Yeah.
But we know she wants to be a hero. That's I think the important thing for her character is she wants to be a hero, and she has let addiction control her.
Yeah.
And control her path in life.
And she also has zero context. She gets angry at Jess for defending her mom, who is obviously a murderer, and that's a good reason to be angry at someone. But Trish also has kidnapped a guy, hit Malcolm in the head with a gun, and like gone around breaking tons of laws just in order to get the things that she wants.
Yeah. No, she's assaulted somebody.
She assaulted a
kidnapped.
few people.
Yeah.
Pointed guns at multiple folks.
Almost shot Malcolm.
Was rude to her fan. The worst crime of all. Never be rude to a fan.
Also, don't be a rude fan.
Also, don't be a rude fan, but don't ever be rude to a fan. Yeah, she points a gun at Malcolm and shoots at him in the foot, but still points a gun at Malcolm, who like 12 hours earlier she was in his bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's a big swing.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a change. And Malcolm's having a weird day.
He's having a real weird day.
It's like I slept with Patsy earlier, and now she shot me and beat me over the head with a gun. What am I even doing here?
And then he gets fired and then quits for real.
For real.
Yeah, I mean that's. But Malcolm is Malcolm is one of the best characters on this show, if not the best, like most interesting character.
Yeah,
just for everything from his performance to the writing to all of it is phenomenal.
Yeah, but it's true. Like he did break into Jess's computer.
Yeah.
And like stole information. Like there's a real good reason why. Like I didn't like his indignation. Like he stole information from Jess, and it doesn't matter if you thought you were doing it to help her. Like he did steal from her.
She told you not to do something,
and then you
did it, and like into her very her personal affairs.
Yeah, and it's the reason why her mom is now out of the prison that they were getting. Like all of that is the reason why her mom is now probably gonna get shot by cops.
Yeah,
like is because of Trish and Malcolm's actions,
and that all led to Trish now being in this in the hospital in this for a while, like a sort of a coma.
Yeah,
and now like we don't even until we see next episode, like we won't even know.
Yeah,
what becomes her, because where we leave Trish is she is having convulsions and her eyes are rolling back in her, like she's having it's probably a seizure of some sort.
Not only are we lawyers, we're also doctors.
Yes. Probably a seizure.
Probably a seizure.
The nurse take care of the probably.
Give her that medicine that makes her better.
50 cc's of medicine. But I mean, do you get this? Could be that like last thing before her body. Like this is her body. Like this is her genes being altered, because we talk about like Carl talks about how this is gene editing, and so this could be her body reacting to the gene therapy.
Or she dies. And then makes a deal with the devil to come back. And she's Hellcat.
Oh, we gonna get some Mephisto in here.
Yeah, we need some
Jessica
Mephisto.
Jones, season 3, Mephisto. Actually, Jesse and I were riffing on this idea earlier.
Yeah, we were thinking like if we could get Ghost Rider in, and then just make it a road season where it's a road trip in hell.
Ghost Rider jacket.
Yeah, you're wearing a Ghost Rider jacket. It's a road trip show in hell. I think our favorite was it's a mad underworld.
Oh, okay, that's what you got.
Or they're going on the highway to Hellcat.
Hellcat, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of terrible. Be sure to leave. So if you're watching, I'm going to use this as a transition. If you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to us, you can do that at AfterBuzz TV Sci-Fi, Fantasy, and Superheroes. If you're doing it there, if you're on iTunes, hit us with a review and a subscription. Leave what you think the Ghost Rider Hellcat team-up show should be titled. That's what I want to know from everybody.
Also, I had someone, this is a carryover from the last show, keep giving us suggestions for Netflix original series that are being infiltrated by the Skrulls. Because all of your suggestions were hilarious last week.
I hadn't had a chance to look at these.
There was a really in-depth description of Fuller House infiltrated by the Skrulls.
That excites me so much.
Which gave
I'm gonna read that as soon as we're done here.
A reason why there were 2 Michelles. One was a Skrull clone.
Oh my gosh, you guys are brilliant.
Oh, I love that. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Anyway, diving back into the show.
Yeah, sure.
Let's dig into Hogarth's storyline.
Oh man.
Because Hogarth, Jess, after uncovering like all of that, like finding out that like there was no healer.
Yeah.
From Carl.
She talks to Carl. He's like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, that like Shane is obviously scamming her. Tries to very gently let Jerry know like this is gonna be bad, but before, not only does Jerry reject it, before she can even try to do anything about it, gets back and discovers that she is definitely was scammed. Yeah, she got
jacked.
Everything was stolen. And the performance at that moment, that like the slow realization on her face, like Carrie-Anne Moss just brings it in that moment, because it's that moment of like, oh, my stuff's gone. Oh my God, this is terrible. Wait, maybe there's does that mean that Jess is right? No, maybe there's another explanation. No, I can't lie to myself. I know, like, she had to be right.
Yeah.
I got conned. Oh, wait, not just my stuff is gone, but I'm dying again.
Yeah. Or is she?
She is.
I don't think she ever. I think they planted the seed for it here, where she says, "I felt good for the last 2 days," and Jess says, "Well, that could be psychosomatic. It's just been 2 days." I think all of her symptoms have just been after she was diagnosed with ALS. It's all been psychosomatic. I think all of that is something that has been that she has planted in herself. I don't think she was ever sick. I think, or if she is sick, it's from gene mutation. I think someone injected her with ALS.
I don't think we're getting that complex here.
All right.
I'd be willing to roll with that.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. To me, it makes that story less interesting. I love her arc as somebody who is dealing with this disease, actually dealing with this disease, as opposed to somebody who just thinks they are.
well, it's the whole idea of control again, like mind over matter, but also losing control, losing your stuff and all of your control and like power.
Yeah, and it's it is very possible that like she just didn't, like, she's in the very, very early stages of ALS. Like, it's very possible she just didn't have a cramp for those days.
Yeah.
And she just convinced herself, like, even if she did, it's just like, oh, it's just like my bones are tight, and like cracks her knuckles and feels, and it's like it goes
residual.
away.
Or it's possible that she was never sick, and that this is a power play from her partners.
I do want to know what's going on with the two of them.
Or her partners injected her with ALS. Those are my two. I think it's one, like, they gene edited her.
They actually hired Dr. Carl.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It becomes full circle.
Or different, yeah, and then you can tie it all together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought this was great. I like seeing her call all the pawn shops. Like seeing that we got to see Turk, the night nurse of these series.
The night nurse of these?
Yeah, because we're not seeing the night nurse. So
yeah, no Claire. But is this the first season? No, she wasn't. Was she in Punisher?
Claire?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't know.
So that
I remember.
Who would have remembered if she was?
Yeah. But so maybe this isn't the first time we haven't seen Claire in a Netflix Marvel show. But Turk is definitely
here.
He's the Coulson of
Coulson.
proving to be the one thread for all of these shows. Not Night Nurse. Turk.
And I like that he shows like, oh, I'm probably gonna go to jail again because he doesn't want to get paid. He just wants a favor.
Like, I'll take the favor. I know I'm gonna get arrested.
There's a Daredevil here. I'm probably gonna get beat up and arrested.
Well, he thinks Daredevil's dead.
That's true.
Unless Danny's been running around in red for a while.
Possible.
Which is a comic book storyline.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Defenders, I guess. But yeah, well, we are getting Daredevil season 3.
Yeah.
So only mild spoilers. Yeah, so then Hogarth takes it real dark.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't see that one coming, although it fits so perfectly with her character. I thought she was just going to go straight up murder them.
Yeah.
No, she takes it a step further. She's like, no, I want you to be, I don't even want to get my hands that dirty. I want you to be murdered by your own girlfriend who scammed me.
Yeah.
She manipulates Inez to the point where she has nothing. She has nothing on Shane,
Yeah.
but gets Inez to kill him anyway.
I like I like the confidence of like showing the papers to her, and like she's like, yeah, I've got all of these papers. My friend showed them to me of all the phone logs and all of the money that Shane's been receiving from all of these other women and stuff like that. And like Inez very easily could have reached over and looked through them, but just didn't. Like it's such a con artist move. No one out cons Jerry Hogarth.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Well, what's next for her is what I want to know.
her partners.
Her partners are
Yeah,
coming
now
down.
she's on this high of like,
Yeah.
I dealt with these mother effers. You next. I don't even remember their
Chang.
name. Chang and Benowitz.
Yeah.
You guys going down. I mean, Malcolm already gave her all the ammunition that she really needs
Yeah,
to
that
take
was
them down.
several episodes ago.
Yeah, so now I'm just waiting to see, because they may have just taken each other out.
Yeah.
She gets back and it's just Hogarth.
Welcome to
Well,
Hogarth,
done.
Hogarth.
I mean, like, she even said, like, her clients keep that place afloat. Like,
Yeah.
Danny Rand's account alone probably keeps
yeah.
them open. She could just, like, not take other cases. She's just like, I represent only Danny Rand and Jessica Jones.
And that's enough.
Set for life.
Yeah.
It was interesting seeing Carl, like, because I feel like they gave him a bit of a redemption where he finally realized, oh, all of this stuff I've been doing is hurting people. And then he got to kind of take his own way out. So it was interesting seeing him get a little bit of a redemption after being a mad scientist.
Yeah. And, like, the thing is, like, he was a mad scientist, but I never questioned his intention.
Yeah.
Like,
His intentions may have been good, but they were the wrong means.
yes.
Yeah.
He was willing to go a little further than maybe he should have. Even in these episodes says, like, to hell with ethics.
Yeah.
Different reason, but...
But also, like, you don't want to hear a scientist say, to hell with ethics ever. I'll be a god. I'll make my own ethics.
I like that we get
Yeah.
to see his interaction with Trish, because he's like, I was the same way. I
Yeah.
want the power. So that was an interesting take on that, and I feel like I understood him. Like at the point that he realized, oh man, I did go too far. You see everything. Like it just, you really get to see his character a little bit more, and I just felt really bad for him.
You know what's
Yeah.
funny? What you guys just said. Sorry, Stephen in the booth here.
Hey, Steve.
Is you said you never want a doctor to say to hell with ethics, but then we have the scene earlier in the season with Hogarth. To hell with ethics. Give me the experimental treatments.
Yeah, well, that's a lawyer. You expect a lawyer to say to hell with ethics.
They don't even have ethics.
Yeah.
If they've thrown him to hell is like...
Oh, we've been looking for Mephisto in hell. He's probably just hanging out with Hogarth.
Hogarth's got him on speed dial.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was great seeing that. I thought also, like, the sweet scene we saw between the mom and Carl was also sinister, because we're learning that, like, this is the first time she's being let out of the lab, and they're already, like, in love, and, like their relationship has already progressed that far, which means, like, he has been having a relationship with a client in his underground lab where he has been doing experiments on her.
Well, I think that was their first time being physically intimate in any way. That was what I gathered from that
Oh, I didn't-
situation.
The first time they kissed.
Yeah, I think that was the first time that he had ever done anything physical, because he kind of like, that's when he's like, to hell with ethics, and then he kisses her, which is like, it's like romantic in a weird way where like, don't dissect it too much or it starts to get creepy.
But I mean, they still had the emotional
But yeah, they
connection,
definitely had
so-
an emotional thing building in the
Already,
lab.
yeah.
But I don't know that that's as much, like, you can't really fault somebody for having an emotional connection. It's just when they act on the physical, when they push it further.
I read that To Hell with Ethics was a response to him closing down the lab just for one client, because that's what she says before. Like, you're closing down your lab just for me.
Well, he said he's closing it down because he doesn't want
He doesn't
he
trust
doesn't he
them.
doesn't trust Kozlov.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't want, and he thinks that anything else that he develops down there, any more techniques to helping people, is just going to go towards Kozlov's military applications.
Sure.
So I think he's bailing out, but he doesn't. But the only person left that he cares enough about that he will continue to protect them is Alyssa.
Mm-hmm.
So he takes her out, and basically then this whole arc starts.
Yeah. His sex slave, Alyssa. He keeps her in a dungeon.
She puts herself on there for safety reasons. Like,
Sure.
again, questionable that they entered into a sexual and romantic relationship.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that she was a slave. Like, if she knows that she is out of control. She's voluntarily chaining herself up at night because she knows that it's like the same thing. Like, if Bruce Banner was to lock himself in a Hulk-proof room when he's going to have a rage fit because he knows what happens if he doesn't.
Sure.
Oh, like Oz and Buffy.
Yes, like Oz and Buffy.
There you go. That's exactly what I thought.
The werewolf Oz and Willow in Buffy. People who were watching TV in 1998. Hello.
Or on Netflix.
Yes,
like,
caught it later.
Sorry, I apologize. I forgot about Netflix.
you forgot about Netflix while we're covering a Netflix TV show.
I just remember seeing it when I was in middle school.
Yeah.
I think she gets the idea of love a little bit confused, and because she's thankful that she's alive.
Well, that's why
But
the
it's the
doctor-patient romantic relationship is considered vastly unethical, because people
And
do
she's-
end up forming attachments to their doctors because they're healing them. But it is not. It is a connection that is built out of a like the care that they give, not out of anything real.
And this woman is incredibly mentally unstable.
Yeah, she is.
Like,
she is, and we
he-
acknowledge it a lot in these episodes. She is brain damaged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he sees that she is mentally unstable and is still like, I'm going to still take advantage of her. Because when someone is mentally unstable like that, and you are caring for them, that is taking advantage of them.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
Whether or not you think it is, that is.
Yeah, whether or not you think it is, whether or not they think it is.
I'd argue the point that he's mentally unstable too, though.
Oh, well, then it's beautiful.
They can be mentally unstable. yeah.
Not like he may be a little bit off the reservation, but like no, he's not brain damaged. Like
Sure.
he smoked a lot of pot in his day.
Listen
sure,
to a bit of Doors.
but he's no more. And like probably, let's be honest, he probably dropped a bunch of acid too.
Yeah.
But like,
well, that was part of being a scientist.
yeah. But beyond that, like he's not actually. Like he wasn't in a major accident. He doesn't have brain trauma.
Yeah.
He's
Scientifically.
responsible enough for himself that he should not have been falling through this.
I've read some criticism of these episodes where Alyssa's escape and subsequent anger is very convenient. Like, just it's based off of basically her watching TV at the correct times. Did that bother you? Because like
That she happens to see the report.
she happens to see the report on Trish from her jail cell.
Direct shot.
Yeah, it's like a direct shot,
would-
it's that breaking news, and it just so happens that she's looking out and sees that Carl is killed, and it happens to be connected with Patsy, and then again when she's in Carl's hotel room, she turns on the TV just in time to see Trisha's mom say exactly where she is and pray for Patsy.
Yeah, I will say I will acknowledge that I had this similar thought. The
It didn't bother me. Like,
I think I'm so used to it on
Yeah.
television as plot devices. Like, would I have liked? That's the thing. Like, I noticed it, but it didn't bother me.
did not upset the episode at all for me.
There are ways that they could have gone around that. Like we could have given her a little bit of like her the PI skills that her daughter has. Like,
Sure.
wouldn't have taken that much if she'd Googled Trish Walker, and then her mom's interview popped up.
Sure.
Then she's actively finding it instead of passively finding it.
Yeah.
So yes, she could have done that. The TV in the prison didn't bother me, except that I didn't think she could hear it from where she was, because there was like a closed, like sealed
Like three
door.
closed doors.
Like there was bars, and then there was the big metal door, which I assume that the guard isn't blasting the TV she's watching.
And the guard was also in a room as well with a closed door.
So that was the only thing that so if we had just seen the images, which I think there was also enough there, but that was the only thing that really threw me off there is the audio.
It didn't bother me at all. Like it moved the plot forward, and it was the easiest way from point A to point Z or whatever. Like I get it. Like there are probably better ways, but I was glad to just get to seeing her raging out and then squishing a cop.
That was messed up.
That was real messed up.
Did she take the cop as like to buffer her fall?
I think it might have just been a pile driver. I think it
I didn't.
Or German suplex.
There was no unless it was about like protecting her body as she fell. There was no reason for it.
I don't think it was that. I think it was just like, F you guys. I'm gonna leave, and you're not gonna do anything about it because you don't want to shoot your partner, and I'm gonna take advantage of that.
Yeah, I mean, she was telling her partner like, take the shot.
Yeah.
What do you think about that cop's argument that that his partner's death and like all the subsequent deaths are on Jessica's hands because she let her get out of control? Like, I feel like that's unfair.
You could do that with any crime though, because
Absolutely,
it's you can put that blame and that's what Jess has been dealing with, which is with the same thing with the car accident. Yes, Jess was Jess was blaming herself because she was the one making trouble in the back seat. But as the mom points out, the dad shouldn't have taken his eyes off the road.
Yeah.
That was poor judgment on his part. And she blames herself because she
should have been driving.
Knew that the dad was not as good a driver as her and let him drive anyway. So she blames herself for that. You can assign blame to any of these situations.
Sure.
But unless you intended it, it's not your fault at the end of the day. So putting blame on her is just him wanting someone to blame besides the killer. He can blame Jess because she's in front of him.
Right.
But it's not her fault.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a whole chain reaction. I mean, if Alyssa hadn't seen that Carl had died, then that would have been a whole nother thing. If Carl hadn't died because Trish didn't want to be like Jess, that's another thing.
Yeah.
It's just Trish not...
I will say, I feel like the guard should have had at least enough information about her prisoner that Carl's name showing up on the screen might have said, might have been oh, this might be important.
Well, they did a good job of having that new guard and Alyssa have a really nice relationship where you would believe that this guard, who is a professional, feels like she is connected with Alyssa on a personal level, that she feels comfortable coming in and checking in on her.
Yes.
Even though she's not cuffed at that moment.
No. I totally agree with that. I just mean but she comes in not sure why she's reacting this way. But she was in the room with the news report.
Oh, she's probably how did you hear that news report from three doors away?
That only bothered me in the fact that it was just obviously look at what just happened. That played, and then she starts crying. But it's how is she supposed to know? I mean, she should know, but they don't know.
Yeah. All right. Did you guys have any other points you wanted to talk on these episodes before we start doing some predictions?
The interactions with Trish's mom were really, really interesting, where at first she was saying this isn't your fault, Jess. If Trish dies, then you're my only daughter, basically is what she says. All we have is each other. And
she's never acted that way to Jess.
She's never
before.
acted that, and then immediately, as soon as she finds out that it's Jess's mom, immediately blames her again. And then that argument that Trish and Jess have, like that was really real to me. I don't know if you guys have ever, hopefully you haven't had family members who've been dying, but a lot of times they get very obstinate and angry and combative, and a lot of times they want to argue with you, like while they are dying. So a lot of times your last interactions with dying family members are like combative arguments. And so like that idea of Trish waking up and Jess and Trish immediately getting into a fight and an argument, like in that feeling of guilt where it's like you're yelling at this person who's dying, but they're being frustrating on purpose, is like really real. And I loved that moment where they were fighting with each other. And the makeup team, again, Trish looked dead. She looked so dead.
Yeah.
Like, she looked really dead.
Oh, man. I thought she had died.
Yeah.
Especially in that moment with
pause.
Dorothy at the end. I was like,
Oh, yes.
oh, my God, they killed her.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I was like, how did they kill? And then spasms and everything.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I really love the scene with Jessica and her mom. Loved is a weird word, but when her mom is trying to kill Trish and she just has her, like,
Oh, that
she's
was intense.
choking her, and then she's like, please stop, like, don't take my only family away from me. Oh my
Again.
gosh. Again,
Yeah.
yes. Beautiful.
Really-
Absolutely beautiful. Yeah.
Really heavy hits of emotions in these episodes.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's when she says, oh, like, you took me out of it. Like, I haven't been able to get out of that. Thank you.
Yeah.
But it's still like, you could turn it any time again.
Yeah. And so we leave these episodes with Jess kidnapped by her mom.
Road trip.
Road trip. Road trip with the Joneses. So let's do some quick predictions before we move on.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Before I go home and watch this episode, despite the fact that I have to be up in 6 hours to go to work.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I think Trish is going to be Hellcat by the end of this season.
In what sense do you?
Like, she's just going to be...
Like
You think
Force
yellow
It's just gonna
leotard,
happen. Yeah.
blue head.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think maybe
want.
we'll see like a thing where like someone drops a coffee mug and she grabs it and it's like got super speed, or she like crushes a brick in her hand. Or
Yeah, I
something
think
like
we'll
that.
get a little bit of that power reveal.
Yeah.
But I
Maybe
don't know.
in
I
the
don't.
suit,
I-
okay,
I would
okay.
love to see the yellow suit, but I don't think we're going to, especially on this show.
Does
They'll
a-
take their time with it.
I think Hogarth finds out that either her partners have made her sick through gene manipulation, or bought off that doctor, and that doctor's not a real doctor, or just a real bad doctor. I think Jess's mom has to die, and I think maybe she kills herself.
I think that's a good prediction because it gets messy if you send her to the raft.
Yeah.
Because we have to. I feel like, well, we guess we broke everybody out of there.
Yeah.
At the end of Civil War, but I don't think. I still think it gets too messy if you send her to somewhere like that, and keep her alive. But I don't think they would kill. I agree. I don't think they would have Jess kill her own mother, because then we're right back where we were at the start of the season with the Kilgrave death. Jess has plenty of guilt on her side already.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to add to it to get her character further along.
Also, real quick, we got a little hint at Sokovia Accords stuff with her mom not having the same rights that a regular prisoner would have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Where they didn't get the privacy that they usually would.
Yeah, that you constitutionally in the United States are allowed. Like you are supposed to be allowed a private meeting with your attorney.
Yeah.
But the Sokovia Accords, I guess, like they stopped short of saying it,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure. I think you're right.
I think Malcolm's got to come back and maybe save the day or something like that. Like, I'd like to see some sort of ending on a positive note with Malcolm.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what we do with that character. He's too strong to like leave by the wayside.
Oh, and the other like we also have the rival Private Eye as well. Like, he's got to come back as well.
Price, I guess you could
Price.
see Price hire out Malcolm or something.
Oh, Malcolm's with Price? Yeah.
That'd actually be really interesting.
Like, I mean, I could see that. Like, Price tried to buy out Jess.
I'm
like,
on board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's where he's headed. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of the Jessica Jones After Show. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you were listening or watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and leave us a review if you could while you're at it. Tell your friends about the podcast as well. We will be back Wednesday at 3 p.m., I believe.
Yeah.
Stay tuned to Twitter for all announcements regarding that. To talk about the final episode of Jessica Jones Season 2.
And an
Jesse?
entire season like recap.
Yeah, we're gonna
and, like,
just
season
go
1
through.
and 2
Yeah,
top.
really hone in on. We wanted to have one episode just to talk about that finale and also talk about everything about the season over the course of an hour. So join us for that very soon. I have been your host, Zach Wilson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @ZachWilson. Be sure to check out over on Geek and Sundry. I write a show called Game Engine where we do silly, fun news and comedy bits and games and interviews. It's a blast of a late night show that's on 4 o'clock in the afternoon. All around video games. And the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. after show, which is on Sundays at 5 with Jesse Klein. Jesse, where can everyone keep up with you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JessKlein1. That's JessKlein, the number 1. Also see me in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. after show. I also have a podcast coming out on the Science Jerks Network called Science AF. That's where me and Dave Chacho take science news and we kind of peel off in a comedic way with our comedy and science guests.
That sounds amazing.
It's a lot of fun.
And you guys can find me on all social media at Amy Cassandra MTZ. Also here on AfterBuzz on Monday nights, Marvel TV Weekly 7 p.m. And then Netflix Picks Sunday nights at 7. And Box Office Breakdown on Popcorn Talk Sunday nights at 9.
All right, guys, this has been the Jessica Jones After Show. Thanks for geeking out with us.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.